Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. Welcome to Mathematics with Shahab Yaqub. In this particular video, we'll be focusing on a paper 6 question, and it's a very old but classic question. It's so old that at that time there was no other variant. So there used to be only one variant, and I think that happened till 2010 or 2011 for S1. So let's get started with this particular question. Now this question is about a hotel key. Let's read the question, and at the same time I'll be underlining it a bit. Now the question says, in a certain hotel, the lock on the door to each room can be opened by inserting a key card. That is the first thing. And now the next thing is, the key card can be inserted only one way round. Why does it say so? We will study it later. The card has a pattern of holes punched in it. The card has 4 columns, and each column can either have 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 holes punched in it. Each column has 8 different positions for the holes. I'll go to the diagram in a short while. And then it says the diagram illustrates one particular key card with 3 holes punched in the first column. So that is the first column. There are 3 holes in it. So let me just shade this column. That is the first one. And then there is a next column that goes like this. And then there is a third column with only 1 hole, and by the way, in the second column there were also 3 holes, and there were 2 holes in the fourth column. So therefore, what do we have over here? We have column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, and it's just a sample that you see over here. And how many possible spaces are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that goes for each of them. The first part, show that the number of different ways in a column could have exactly 2 holes is 28. Now in this very first part, we have to decide whether it's combination or it's permutation. So that is why they have given us this answer. If I calculate 8C2, this answer comes out to be 28. If I calculate 8P2, this answer comes out to be 56. Since the answer is already given as 28, so therefore I'll say it's a combination scenario because the answer says it all. So that is the first thing. Now, if someone persists on saying no, it's about arrangement, it could be a permutation question. How would you rationalize the idea? So you would say, okay, we know this concept that NCR into R factorial is NPR. That means first select, then arrange the selected things. Isn't that the same thing as NPR? That is permutation. The answer is yes. That means if I say that let's do this thing, let's calculate 8P2 and then divide by 2 factorial, and we are making an assumption, which is very correct assumption, that the holes are identical. So we are using the concept of identical objects. That is 56 divided by 2 factorial, that becomes 28, which is actually 8C2. So there are 2 ways of explaining this idea. Let me recap it once more. The first part says, show that the number of different ways in which a column could have exactly 2 holes is 28. So option 1 is this. That is, we will say this is option 1. We calculate both 8C2, 8P2. This is giving the correct answer. So let's assume that this is about combination. That is the first thing. This you can say as method number 1. And what is method number 2? That is, we know this rule, first select, then arrange. That's the same thing as NPR. So if I calculate 8P2 and if I divide by 2 factorial, because the holes are exactly identical, So that is 56 over 2, which is 28, which is in fact the same thing as 8C2. Because in PR over R factorial is in CR. So that's how the first part is done. So now let's move to the second part. Now what is the second part? The second part is find how many different pattern of holes can be punched in a column. So now in a column there are 8 possible positions, and there could be a possibility of 1 hole or 2 holes or 3 holes or 4 holes. So grab your calculator and evaluate first of all, that is 8C1. I'm using the concept of NCR. Let's keep it simple. So 8C1 comes out to be 8. Let me evaluate 8C2, and that is 28, which is just written right over here. Let me calculate 8C3, and this I'll do on the sidelines. So that is 8 and 7 and 6 and 3 into 2 into 1. So that comes out to be 56. And let me evaluate 8C4, that is 8, 7, 6, 5, and this is 4, 3, 2, 1. So let me cancel out the 6 with 3 and 2, and 4 ones are, 4 twos are. So 2 into, this is cancelled out, 2 into 7 is 14, 14 into 5, that is 70. That's how I do my calculation. And if I add it all up, I think I remember the answer. It should be 162. I hope that you should double check it. So 70, keep it on the side. 56 plus 28 plus 8. So 56 plus 28, and let me first add 8 to it. So 56 plus 8, that is 64. 64 plus 20, that is 84. 84 plus 8, that is 92, and 92 plus 70, yes, the answer is correct, that is 162. So I have showcased some of my basic addition skills to you also. So that's how the second part is done. Now the third part, that says this: how many possible key cards are there? Now in one column there are 162 possibilities. This is column 1. Similarly, in column 2, there are 162, and similarly in column 3, and there is column 4. So let me write over here, this is column 3, and 162 possibilities, and column 4, that's 162 possibilities. Now, this is what we require, and focus on the magic word, and this is what we require, and this is also what we require, and this is what we require. So this is 162 into 162 into 162 into 162. This is the answer based from second part. That is 162 raised to power of 4, which is a very, very big number. And that's written over here. 688 747 536. So that is the answer. Of course, you can leave the answer as it is also, because this is the answer in the exact form. You are not rounding off, so leave it as it is. So that was one classic question regarding a hotel key, in which what exactly have we used? We have first decided on the idea whether it's combination or permutation. And then we have decided on the concept of combination 8C1 or 8C2 or 8C3 or 8C4. That is why we have added it. We have done some basic calculation, and definitely you can use a calculator. And then we have used the concept of AND, which is multiplication. So basic idea is always there. That is AND leads to multiplication. Let me draw a nice multiplication sign. And OR leads to addition. So that is the basic idea of this particular question. Stay tuned for more mathematical content.